Hi guys, a bit of a different video today. I'm going to talk about how tricky it is to do a PGCE. Now, for those of you that don't know, the PGCE is the Postgraduate Certificate of Education, which is what you need in the UK to become a licensed teacher. So, how hard is it? Well, there's many different facets of this to discuss. So I'll first of all start off by telling you about my background. So I've got a bachelor's degree in molecular biology and a master's degree from University College London in clinical tropical microbiology. Now, to put it into perspective, University College London at the time was number 6 in the entire world. So fair to say, they don't really let in jokers. And I can categorically say that doing a PGCE is significantly harder than anything I'd done in terms of academics up until that point, as well as any job that I had done. So what makes it so hard? There's many different aspects to this. First of all, you're just not used to the work at the beginning. And when I say that, it's like, as a teacher, you got to plan lessons. And right now, as an experienced teacher, it takes me maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours if I'm being a bit inefficient to plan a lesson. But back then in the PGCE, it used to take way longer. It used to take maybe like 3.5, 4 hours to plan a lesson. Now, why does it take so long? Well, first of all, you don't have any resources at the very beginning. You've got to make your resources from scratch. Smart people, what they do is or popular people, they take resources from other teachers. However, everyone has their own sort of style of teaching. So even when I used to borrow PowerPoints, I used to modify them to the point that I may as well have just started from scratch myself. So that's the first bit. You may be wondering, well, why does it take you so long for now? It's the same kind of thing. Every time a curriculum is modified a little bit, I generally tend to start things from scratch. Obviously, I've got all of my PowerPoints, which I've made from before, and I generally modify those. But it's coming out of worksheets, especially appropriate to a level. You have to come up with answer keys for those worksheets. You have to come up with homeworks, extension works, online quizzes, this type of thing. So when you put all of that into account, it takes a couple of hours to churn out a lesson plan today. If you're efficient, you can do it in your free periods. If you've got like a really rammed timetable, you might have to take that work home. So that's a bit of a bummer. But sometimes, particularly if you've taught it before or taught it fairly recently, you can bosh out a lesson plan in half an hour. Now, when you're doing a PGCE, that's definitely not the case. These lesson plans take around 3.5, 4 hours, and you got, like about 3 or 4 of them to do for any given particular day. So some of them don't even get finished. Other ones, they get done. Some of them are fully complete. Others are kind of like half-baked, this type of thing. So that's what makes it kind of tricky. The other part of it is, well, at what level do you pitch it at? Now, yes, we have a curriculum guide, but bear in mind a lot of these people on these courses, they've got their bachelors, they've got their masters, so their knowledge is almost at too high of a level, and you don't realize, I don't want to say how dumb kids are, but like you don't realize what level the kids are at until you start noticing that they don't really know anything that you know. They don't have the foundation. So you've got to really chop it down to its foundations, and that poses other issues about pacing and this type of thing. But when you're starting off, you've got no idea what level they're at. Like, you don't know how the things that you and I take for granted, they don't have any idea. So, that messes with the lesson plan, that puts even more time onto a plan. The other part of it is the psychology, the behavior management. You see, I started teacher training when I was basically 29 going on 30. And up until that point, I behaved like a man. in that if someone like sort of got rude to me, I would, it's like I'd square up to them. I had this kind of personality, and this had to be, stamped out, because you can't be a teacher acting in this kind of aggressive manner. It's just, it's a bit of a faux pas. So, you had to stop acting like that and start behaving more like how a father would behave, which is surprisingly tricky. And actually, it took many, many years for me to finally crack that. I don't know how many years, maybe 5 or 6, something like that. But it takes a long time. But when you're doing the PGC, you don't have any of that experience. You're just going in there and you have to basically have children disrespect you to your face. You've got to be able to deal with that in a calm manner. It's tricky. It really is tricky. The other thing is your lessons are judged to standards by which they judge people with, 15, 16, 20 years of experience. And, you're an absolute beginner and they judge you to those same standards. So generally, for people that are new to teaching, the standards are more or less the same. Are the kids learning? Is everyone making progress? Is there differentiation? Basically, it's that. Now, you can walk into any classroom and look at what kids are doing, and it's very easy to fail as someone who is teaching, purely because if there's one student in the room that hasn't made progress, you can technically fail that teacher for that particular lesson, which makes it a very cutthroat thing. And that leads us to consequences of failure. If by the end of that academic year you haven't improved and you're not going to pass, that means you cannot teach ever again in the United Kingdom. Now, psychologically, it's very hard on you because that adds more pressure to the whole PGCE thing. So not only are you spending hours and hours every night, you know that if you mess this up, that's it. The thing that you're devoting 1 year of your life to will be all for nothing. Go back to your old job. We don't want you here. And that's quite hard to take mentally. And so what happens is, towards the end of the PGC, there are a number of people that, they realize, wait a second, I can't pass it this year. And what they do is they drop out and they enter in the system again the next year, hoping that they would maybe pass it. So that's quite a difficult decision to make for those people. For me personally, yeah, it looked like might not pass the PGCE, but I'm like, I'm not gonna redo this year. If I fail, I fail. If I pass, I pass. And I just put in the hours. However, I'm never ever late to work. During the PGC, I was so tired that alarm clock went off and I just slept through it. I look at the time, it's already like 9 o'clock in the morning. I should have been at school like an hour and a half ago type of thing. That happened literally a couple of times, and it's only because I was spending all night trying to sort out these plans. Now, one thing I say to students is, you're better off getting a good night's sleep and tackling an exam that you haven't revised for than studying all night and coming to the exam completely shattered. Because when you're shattered, your mental performance is low level. When you're fully alert, at least you've got something to figure things out with. Your brain works a hell of a lot better. So basically, in conclusion, the PGC is the hardest year of my life by a significant margin. What's strange is this is different for different people. Some people find it extremely easy. They go in, they smash it. But these people are like natural teachers. So some people have this natural ability to teach. Most other people, they need to be taught how to teach. And this in itself is a different matter. But be prepared for it. As long as you put in the hours, generally you'll be okay. But it will be tough. And there will be moments where you're thinking, why am I doing this? Is there a better career out there for me. And in fact, one of my the people judging me at the time, the people on the PGCE course, even said that to me. Is there anything that you'd rather be doing than this thing because you're not cut out for teaching? Which is quite a tough thing to take, but I'm not a quitter. I just kept at it, passed it, got through it, and I've been teaching for now, or since 2007 for a long time. Yeah, so that's that. If you want to do it, you could do it. Go for it. It's a good profession. However, it isn't for everyone. So you do you, and best of luck.